One of the most important things I learned during my recovery was understanding hyperstimulation. Back then I was struggling with symptoms 24/7, and I had a ton of them. And whenever I went to the doctor would say, it's just stress, go home and relax. So I'd go home and relax. I was relieved that it was just stress. But I'd go home and relax, and then, Monday morning would show up, and I'd still be symptomatic. And I'd go through the whole week, and I'd be symptom after symptom after symptom. I'm thinking, I'm not anxious. Why do I have all these symptoms? So I'd go back to the doctor, and he'd look at my results and say, you know what, it's just stress. You need to go home and relax a bit, and they'll go away. Don't worry about it. And of course, I felt relieved again, but my symptoms never went away. And I would, work at my relaxation, do things that stay away from stress. Yet day after day, I was still symptomatic. And I thought, man, if I could only get rid of these symptoms, that's where my stress is coming from. So anyways, I'd go back to the doctor, same routine. And this went on for years, and I just struggled. And I thought, well, surely he's missed something. Can't be dealing with symptoms like this all the time. So when Bart Jessup, who was a psychologist who came to Regina, where I was living, and I met with him, he explained to me that when the body becomes chronically stressed, it takes a lot longer than most people think to get rid of that stress and symptoms. And so he said, go home and relax. Don't worry about your symptoms, and we'll see how it goes. So I went home and relaxed, and again, another week went by, and I'm still symptomatic like crazy. So I'd say, hey, Bart, what's going on? I'm still symptomatic. He says, no, you just go home and keep doing it. So I'd go home. This went on for about a month, where I wasn't experiencing any relief at all. And so I met with him one time, and I said, this is ridiculous. I'm doing all this relaxation, and I'm still symptomatic. He said, let's do this. We're going to put a stake in the ground. From 90 days from now, I don't want you to think about symptoms. Just go home and do your relaxation, de-stress as much as you can, and then we'll see how things go by 90 days. And I thought, 90 days? That's 3 months. Anyway, so I went home and I worked at it for, diligently. And I was diligent with my recovery strategies. I worked at it daily. Every day I do 2 deep relaxation techniques, reduce my stress, try to get as much sleep as I could. I was faithful, and I didn't trigger my anxiety, so I thought I was doing a really good job. But 2.5 months in, still no symptom break. It was like the symptoms hadn't budged at all. And I was getting frustrated, but I thought, okay, I'm going to give it 2 more weeks. Anyways, by about 3 days before my meeting, on the 90-day meeting, I noticed my symptoms had subsided just a little bit. I thought, well, this is different. Things have eased off a bit. And so when I met with Bart and we talked about it, he said, your body's just now starting to relax, starting to gear down. If you keep working at it, your body will eventually get there. And of course, that set me on the course to look into hyperstimulation, nervous system dysregulation, homeostatic dysregulation. And that's when I figured it out. Well, when the body becomes hyperstimulated, the nervous system gets impacted the most. And the nervous system is made up of specialized cells called neurons, and they have an electrochemical property, which is different than the rest of the cells in the body. And because of that makeup, they take a lot longer to repair and recover than normal body cells. So if you go break a leg or something or other, a bone, you got 8 to 12 weeks of recovery. But when you get your nervous system hyperstimulated, you've got months and months and months and months of recovery work to do before your body's going to reward you with a reduction in symptoms. So when I learned about hyperstimulation and how long it takes to recover, that really made a difference. And so I worked at my recovery daily and diligently. I was really good at it. And in about a year, I noticed a vast reduction in symptoms. I wasn't symptom-free after that 1 year, but I noticed enough reduction to know that this was going to work, which helped me get the rest of the way, which is about another year. So working on hyperstimulation made a big difference in my recovery. So if you're dealing with chronic anxiety symptoms, I encourage you to work on your stress reduction and be patient as you reduce your symptoms. If you stay at it and not trigger yourself with more anxiety because of your symptoms, which is common, if you work at it and stay diligent with your recovery efforts, your body will reward you when it recovers from hyperstimulation and your symptoms subside.